Hello my loves and welcome back into my kitchen. I'm Gabrielle Reyes and this is the Colorful Home Cooking Show. So a lot of you guys have been asking me for something hearty, something meaty as a recipe. And so what did I create? BBQ Jackfruit. I am so excited to show you guys this recipe because this is one of my key recipes that I show anybody who's trying to transition into veganism. It has a few ingredients and it's specializing my favorite barbecue sauce, Stubbs. Sweet heat. It's so good and we're gonna pour it all over our delicious meal. It's gonna be fierce. So the first thing we need is some coconut oil. I like to use unrefined, but it's whatever works for you guys, whatever you have in your pantry. And you're gonna add in about a tablespoon of coconut oil. So I'm gonna put my heat on medium and I have my coconut oil nice and warm in the pan. The next thing I'm gonna add in are some chopped white onions. I'm gonna add in about half a cup and you can just sprinkle those in. And you're gonna wanna get those nice and sauteed. All right, so while that's getting all sauteed and delicious, we're gonna move on over here and I'm gonna start cutting up my jackfruit. Now, I personally love getting jackfruit in a can. It just makes my life easier. So what I do is I just go over to Trader Joe's and I get myself a can of jackfruit and I open it up, strain it, and here you have jackfruit. If you want to, you can of course go to a grocery store that sells a full jackfruit and you can take it apart if you want to, but I'm trying to make this as quick and simple as possible. So here we have this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna chop each piece about 4 to 5 times. I want each piece to be pretty thin because I'm gonna have this jackfruit mimic the feel of pork. We have my chopped jackfruit all ready to go. And we're just gonna put that in my pan. Just gonna dump it in there. And then you're gonna wanna cook these up with the onions because I wanna make sure that all of the heat gets to all of the pieces of jackfruit, just so everything is nice and moist and really cooked down. So now that we have things that are being sauteed, we have everything getting ready to get cooked down and all the flavors about to go in there. So the first thing I'm gonna add in to season up my barbecue jackfruit is some salt, pepper, and then some paprika. Simple, simple, simple spices that you can just pop in here. And I'm gonna spread it all over my jackfruit. And you're gonna wanna do about a teaspoon of each of those. Nice and sprinkly and delicious. And this is gonna add in our first layer of flavor to our jackfruit. I'm just gonna let these saute for a little bit. It'll probably take about 2 to 3 minutes, but you wanna make sure everything is nice and warm. You're gonna see all of the juices starting to come out. So I'm gonna let this saute for a little bit and then I'll come back and add in all my other spices. Awesome, so now that we have our jackfruit and our onions and our spices and our oils all joined together in one delicious pan, I'm gonna add in some vegetable broth and I'm just gonna add in enough to cover the very bottom of the pan. I don't want to drench my jackfruit in it. I just kind of want it to relax there, be sitting in a little pool. It's just chilling out in the vegetable broth. And then what I'm gonna do next is I am going to cover it and let it simmer for about 1 to 2 minutes. Ooh, this looks so good. Everything is falling apart. All of the jackfruit is becoming nice and moist and into these wonderful shreds, just like pulled pork. So, our final addition of flavor is going to be, of course, barbecue sauce. I personally love Stubbs barbecue sauce. I love that it doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup in it. It's really delicious. Of course, it's vegan and the flavor is bomb. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour over my jackfruit some of my barbecue sauce. And you can use whatever you want, but personally, I love this brand. All right. So I'm gonna have my barbecue sauce in there and I'm gonna have it soaking up inside of the jackfruit. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go in with my spatula and I'm gonna break apart some of the pieces again. I'm gonna add in just a little bit more of my barbecue sauce. Personally, I love my sauce nice and just hearty, and I like it dripping off my jackfruit. So I'm gonna add in a lot of sauce. But for this recipe, I would suggest probably about a cup. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is let this simmer for just another 1 to 2 minutes. All right, so now that our jackfruit is nice and smothered in our delicious barbecue sauce, I'm gonna transfer it over to a baking sheet. So what I've done is I have a baking sheet. I'm just using a nice small one and then I put over some baking paper over it as well. Nice and saucy. Yes, delicious. Awesome. So now that I have it on my baking sheet, I'm just gonna pop it in the oven at 425 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now, after 25 minutes, what you're gonna have is this delicious, scrumptious, and baked down to its jackfruit loving heart pan of barbecue jackfruit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer my barbecue jackfruit from my baking sheet and I'm gonna put it back into my pan. So then, now that we have our jackfruit all baked up and delicious, I'm gonna take it apart and break it apart with my spatula again. And I'm just gonna make sure that all the pieces are covered in barbecue sauce. So what I like to do next is I like to move all of my jackfruit towards the middle of my pan, and then I'm gonna cover it in, yet again, some barbecue sauce. I know, it's a lot of barbecue sauce, but it's so delicious, and I promise you, it's what helps it taste exactly like barbecue. There we go. Final touch is liquid smoke. I don't know if you guys have ever used liquid smoke in whatever recipes you've created, but I like to pop it in at the very end of making my barbecue jackfruit. Just a little bit. You don't want to go over the top with that. You just want to sprinkle in a little bit, not even like a pinch, like half of a pinch. Nice. So as you can see, our barbecue jackfruit is baked to perfection. It's smoky, it's meaty, it's of course barbecuey, and it's gonna be fabulous. Nice. Now this is something that you can put next to rice. You can put it with some beans if you want. I know Ace personally loves it in a taco or loves it with some baked beans or something. But me, I like eating it on its own sometimes because it's a really great meal just on its own. So I'm gonna get myself a beautiful bowl of this delicious barbecue jackfruit, baby. Barbecue jackfruit. What I'm gonna do actually at the very end, of course you guys know I love a fresh element, so I'm gonna put on some of these fresh green onions, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen, a beautiful bowl of barbecue jackfruit, the moment we've all been waiting for. How does it taste? This is good, you guys. It's so good. Because it was baked in the oven for so long, it is moist and it has little crunchy bits in there, and the barbecue sauce is deep in there with flavor, y'all. Okay. This is incredible. You guys saw how easy it was to make this beautiful bowl of barbecue jackfruit. Get yourself the ingredients, get yourself in the kitchen, and make yourself some barbecue jackfruit, barbecue jackfruit, barbecue jackfruit. Hey, barbecue jackfruit, barbecue jackfruit, barbecue jackfruit. Get it. Thanks, you guys. I'll see you later, and thanks for watching the Colorful Home Cooking Show.